but it was a Roman province where
Yeah, Africa.
where future present day Tanzania is. That was considered Africa. It was like a little country.
Right. Okay. But again, nonetheless, I'm just trying to get an understanding of the aborigine, because I'm looking at the word aborigine. It say a person, animal, plant that has been in the country or region from earliest times. So that's what an aborigine is,
Yeah,
and
from
I
the
think
earliest
what.
time. They say that it originated or came from there, from the earliest times.
Okay, so you guys claim that you've always been in America.
Yes, yeah.
So
Well,
if so, if that's the case, um, like, do y'all have any names of the tribes or the people other than Aborigine or Aboriginal or?
I mean, when we hear about history, they said that the real people of this land wouldn't know their language, their culture. So that's things that are lost and that we're regaining names that they never lost theirs because they kept it. A lot of our great grandparents and great grandparents and great great grandparents were threatened if they'd
Hmm.
even brought up their lineage or brought up who they were.
Okay, so
Even
you saying that it was lost in time, but how do y'all get back to that understanding? How did y'all get to the understanding, even though, we all understand that through being forcefully indoctrinated, that's a good word, right? To whereas we got to learn a new language, learn this, learn that. How did you guys stay in connection or even just have this understanding where you guys are right now?
why would we have to
My
learn a
fam,
new
my
language?
family for
Family.
me, my
Yeah,
family
family
and reading books.
research. Yeah, researching
Right.
genealogy, being able to trace your land patterns as well. Genealogy. Also, it's about because it became oral. It's oral history, just like they talk about inside of Indian, like when they talk about Indian tribes, how things are passed down orally. A lot of stuff was orally passed down, and then you get into school, and then school tries to tell you something different than what you heard your whole life. Because I've never heard anything about Africa ever, like ever
Yeah.
until I got to school.
Okay. So, again, is anybody on this panel like from a specific tribe?
Yeah. How many
Yeah,
do you
we
want?
know what tribes we come from. Yeah, I'm Carib and Choctaw. My mom from South America and my dad from North America.
Choctaw, Uchigola, Blackfoot.
On my dad's side.
Gigi Gullah is African, right?
No.
No.
No,
Mm.
Geechee Gullah had let Africans into the tribe, but they was already a tribe before they let the Africans in.
The
Mm.
Ogeechee River, like they're the first. They're the one of the like not one of the oldest, but the Gola Wars. You ever heard of the Gola Wars?
Yeah, so I'm quite
Those were
familiar.
Indian
That's why I'm
wars.
kind of confused that y'all saying that the Gullah people were not African.
The
No,
Gola Wars were Indian wars.
the ones in
Right.
Africa, they're called Gola, not Gullah.
No, no, not
Gola.
not 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 the ones in Africa. The ones that were enslaved over here and ended up getting free and live in what, South Carolina, on those particular
That's
islands
also
down there.
the original, the land of the Gullah Geechee is on those islands. The islands, as well as all throughout, from the top of the East Coast to the bottom of the East Coast, is Gullah Geechee people. There are those people on the island. Those Gullah Geechee aren't the only Gullah Geechee as well, throughout, spread out around the eastern seaboard, the
Uh,
Sea Islands.
Again, I'm pretty understanding of the low country region of the South Carolinas and Georgia being the Gullahs of what they call themselves African American. So this is just something that I'm pretty
That's a
much
misnomer.
familiar with.
Yeah, that's a misnomer. There's no place on this planet called Africa America.
No, that right there is the word salad. So, all right, okay.
That's not
So
the
let me
Yeah, my
okay,
people,
so
my on my dad's side, we on the Dawes list.
okay, so did and you say you Choctaw?
Yep.
Hmm.
And you said that they did have slaves. Do you believe any mixing went on between Africans and slaves?
What's
Probably
slave?
so. I mean,
We gotta get
Indians and
understand.
Africans was slave, but yeah,
What's a
probably
slave?
so.
What's a slave?
A Slav.
Nah,
But a Slav will be a pale skin.
nah, it's not. It's not. We are. So okay. Let me
That's
ask you
true
this question.
too.
So y'all don't believe that the transatlantic slave trade happened?
Yes,
No.
I do.
No, not in the way that it was taught.
Yeah, not the way it was taught
Yeah,
though.
not like how you think, like wherever all the black brown inhabitants of this country are from the descendants of people from the trans. I don't believe that. No.
Like those first 20 African slaves that they brought to Virginia, those were actually Caribs, and it's documented.
They were what?
Caribs, and it's documented.
What's a Carib?
That's
The
the Indian
Indians
tribe.
of the
Those people of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Right.
Mm.
And then it's weird that the amount of people that they said came to the Americas match exactly the amount of people that came in.
That did what? I'm sorry.
You
The
cut
amount
out.
of the amount of slaves that they said that came through is exactly the same amount of slaves that came. I'm not slaves, well, Slavs that came through Ellis and Angel Island.
That basically like what they're doing today, just bringing people in. Just
All they
Mm.
all they was doing
Okay.
was taking us from America and rotating us in between Africa and
Yep.
Spain. That's all they was doing.
Okay. What can? Okay. Again, because I'm just trying to get some understanding. So, is there any books that I can read that can help me get better with this understanding? Because I really don't understand it. Yeah, maybe
Look up
I
this.
am.
Look up the interactions between the American government and the Ottoman Empire.
Hold on, I'm
Look
finna
up
put
that.
one on, and I'm finna put one on the screen for you. Hold on.
Interaction of what again?
The American government and the Ottoman Empire.
Oh, that's a good one.
What would that help me understand?
You can look that up and you can start going down that rabbit hole, because if I start explaining stuff to you that you don't understand, it's not going to make sense to you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the answer to your question.
It's called the interaction of American government and the
Yeah,
Ottoman Empire.
And then this one too, that you see on my screen, this a really good one. And right now it's only like $11 on Amazon.
yeah. I don't want to read any book that says black people are the indigenous to the Americas.
I know, but it's a good book. It's a good starter book.
What's the name of it? I can't see it. I'm on my phone.
Black people are indigenous to Americas by Kimberly Norton, and it's on Amazon. And that's a good starter book just to start you off.
Okay, so we got to look at the fact that when we look into the law, right? And the law, it's Indians, okay? It's the Indian Removal Act. It was the Indian Civil Rights Movement. It was, everything deals with Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Not Native, not Indigenous, not Aboriginal, not Aborigine, not Moor, none of that. It's Indian.
All right. So do any of y'all, okay, so like, and I'm just putting this out here because I'm not a religious person, but from a religious state of mind, people say that Adam and Eve were the first people created by God. Do y'all
Wrong.
know, is it a
The
creator?
Bible doesn't say that.
Do you guys have a creation story?
First of
Yeah, my
all,
mom and my
Carrie,
daddy had sex. My mom and my dad had sex, and they created me. Yes, I have a creation story.
and first of all, Albert Perry, which is not his real name, but that's his code name, Albert Perry. His DNA, Y chromosome, is way older than Adam's, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
South.
yeah, yeah.
He's
No,
from South Carolina.
yeah, I know that. I was just trying to see if, like, from a tribal standpoint, if like you guys were if a creation story was passed on, orally, as an oral tradition.
I mean, we
I wouldn't even tell our creation story.
You wouldn't tell it. I mean,
It's our creation, not y'all's.
Okay. So and here's my last thing. So I'm supposing I'm trying to see where my camera at. I don't see my camera on here.
Shit, I just say we from the dirt here. From
Yeah,
the
racing.
I mean, we natural
from the
beings.
earth, right?
Facts.
Let me answer the chat real quick. Anyone talking got an actual college degree? Well, I'm not really into getting a degree in the Rockefeller educational system.
I got one in surgical technology.
Say it again.
I got one in surgical technology, but not
Global
history.
studies with a minor in public relations.
I don't
And
have one, but I read books by people that do have one.
Period.
see, I don't believe in their indoctrination. I mean, like medicine, like doctors. Doctors are not helping us.
Exactly.
I know
So
herbalists.
you wouldn't go to a doctor if you got
us.
sick? You wouldn't go to a doctor if you got sick?
We do
A
herbs.
herbalist, nuh-uh.
Yeah, we'll go get herbs.
We do herbs. We go
based
back to the
pills do?
natural way of doing things.
Right.
And also, you got this echo. You need to go airplane mode and airplane mode off.
Oh, I
It's
do.
been-
I'm sorry. I know why it is. I'm sorry.
Oh, because you
My bad.
screen recording.
No, I don't even know how to do that, man. I'm older guy. I ain't young.
History degree
I
is
got
You don't
Bluetooth
sound
with
old.
the.
You do not sound old.
Well, thank you, but nah, I'm an older guy. I'm 50 years old, man.
African. I'm sorry to say that. America
Hello
was
to everyone.
the water. It has the oldest Creighton. So Africa was the last. Over here has over 50%.
For record, I have 2 doctors in divinity. So I have
Get
2
'em.
doctors. I am a doctor. So a matter of fact, from now on, when you address me, fry, spam, and potatoes, address me as Dr. Kim Howell, because I actually have 2. And I've
Let 'em
studied
know.
all over this world, not this country. That doesn't make anybody any smarter just because they have degrees.
Yeah, because you paid for an education that you could have got for free.
Listen, I wish I can give them back and get my money back. I've been saying that for years.
You can get
If I can give
Do
all
y'all,
4 of them back and get my money back, I would, because I
do
was
y'all get any
indoctrinated like everybody else.
Do y'all get any benefits from being indigenous to this country?
That's
But
what we
Like
do.
money,
We do have
land.
we do have land patents that our ancestors left us, and that's why we're getting together now and educating our people.
Don't tell them
So
too
a
much.
lot of us can wake up and we could get the movement together.
It's not a movement.
I love
mean-
black people, but that's never
Don't
gonna
tell
happen.
too much. We don't know who
Okay.
these people are.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a question that if you guys are really trying to have a movement
It's
to
not a
where
movement.
It's not a movement.
it's not a movement. But
No, this
okay,
is-
so when I hear you guys talk versus when I see that people call themselves, I'm gonna say the so-called Choctaws. I'm gonna say that you guys are the real ones, and I'm gonna call them the so-called. Okay, do y'all do that? Y'all can accept that?
No, you can
That's
call
cool.
them native.
Okay.
No, you can call them native because that's
Yeah.
what they are. They're
Okay,
Dennis
so-
the foreigners. So you can call them
Okay.
natives.
Okay, so the natives are making and getting billions and billions of
Yep.
dollars.
Yep.
And they came together in a movement in order to, along with the treaties over the centuries,
Those
they
are
are
our
making
treaties.
they're making so much money that some of them that are tribal members, they don't even have to work. They get
Oh, we
hundreds of
know.
thousands of
We're
dollars a
very
year.
aware.
We be
Per-
talking to them on the lives, and they be boasting about it. We are very
Yeah,
well
from our
aware.
Indian Trust.
Yeah, so my thing is, how did the government go from recognizing you all as indigenous people
They don't have
to
to
giving?
recognize us, though. How are
Why
you going
not? I
to?
mean,
Right,
because
we're
again,
not
if you're not
Why do we
benefit,
want to be recognized by the federal government? Why, like, this is our land. We don't need them to recognize us to know who we are.
but I'm
That's
saying, so
silly.
you just a person who don't care about
that shit's
nothing,
fucking
like
crazy.
no laws, no nothing. You just you're able to do whatever you want to do in this land because you
I do
said
whatever I
yours.
want to do.
I think he's mixing things together. He's a little
No,
confused.
I'm not
It's
mixing
not
anything.
okay.
You absolutely are, because for one, that recognition has nothing to do with us being original. They're actually not original to here. They are original to Alaska. That's what made them Native Americans when the United States brought Alaska. We are the original people to this land. The government knows who we are, so we don't need any federal recognition.
Thank
We don't
you.
need that. We are
And
already recognized. They know exactly who we are.
hmm
Oh, okay, so basically
But they
y'all
were
just
used to come over here and steal
that's why
our
they're getting
identity
paid
and our land,
because they're
and that's
able.
why they're getting paid.
They did a job.
Just like
okay.
well, black first. How do you identify? Are you African?
I'm African American. I know my genealogy. I know my
Okay,
DNA.
so you know you came from Africa. You know what
Yeah.
tribe you from and all of that.
Nah, we lost that over the course of the slave trade. But
This
You
I can
wouldn't
go all
lose
the
your
way back.
tribe just
I can
because
I
you
can
Right.
go
from
I
You
can go all the
ancestors
way
came
back
over
to my
here.
I can go all the way back to the plantation and the
what
But you
plantations
should
of
better
plants?
go all the way
you
back to
should
the
also be able to
continent of
go back
Africa
to
as
your
well.
tribe in
they
Africa.
no okay, so why do y'all think that when the slaves were considered cargo, they weren't considered people? So
Okay,
if
Do
they
you
were
know who
considered
was considered
cargo,
Sir, if
cargo?
you
Because we weren't
found your
considered cargo.
genealogy,
the
you should
slaves were
find
considered
your
cargo.
tribe in Africa if
How
you
can
okay.
you find
claiming
other than
Africa.
yeah, and it's not gonna. I haven't taken a DNA test that's giving me the
You
particular
don't need a
tribe.
But you
DNA
need to
To
find
test
take a
to
out.
DNA
find your
test. A
tribe.
DNA
Why?
test doesn't
Why?
tell you who you are. That's what we're trying to get you to understand. DNA test doesn't tell you who you are. Your genealogy tells you who you are.
Okay, and I just
DNA
told you
testing cannot tell you that.
I did my genealogy all the way to my fifth great five
Right,
time
but your
great
genealogy
grandfather
didn't
on
tell you
both
was
sides.
African American. That's not what your genealogy told you.
Well,
African American is a newer
I'm
term
born
that
in
came up in
America.
1988.
I'm born in America, so I'm an American citizen, and I have African ancestry.
I don't
So
know
that's
that
why
Do
though.
you have
that's
African
But
why I'm
ancestry?
how do you know that factually? Is
You
my
don't.
again because
question.
I did my genealogy
So
and
Hmm
I
what's
got it.
your African tribe?
It was lost in translation.
No,
That don't
it's
make
going. Yeah,
It
sense.
it's
does
gonna
make
be on
I've
sense.
there.
done my
Yeah,
genealogy.
it's
It
gonna
was
be
Okay,
lost
on
in
so
there. It's gonna be
translation.
on there because a lot of people,
Yeah,
the tribes.
it's
That's how
given
we
Pan
know our
African. That's
tribes.
white.
That's how we know our tribes because it'll say it on there. Cherokee.
but
A lot of people stuff say their grandparents were chiefs. It's gonna say it.
no,
It's
it
gonna
doesn't.
let
I
you
mean,
know who
again,
you
okay.
are and where you came from.
Hold on. Okay, let him finish his story, and then we'll take turns asking questions so we can
Okay,
hear.
let me mute then.
Yeah, so again, I did my genealogy and I got all the way to on both sides, to my five-time great grandfather on both sides. Same as far as my great grandmothers, because all of my grandfathers were married. A couple of them married a couple of times. So I do understand that part. So once getting a DNA test just to kind of confirm everything, the DNA test says, yeah, majority of my genetics comes from West Africa. It breaks it down to different countries. I haven't taken the one where it breaks it down to the different tribes. So
You
that's
can't
the
do that
story.
though. It's impossible. You know why it's impossible? First of all, Africa's not giving up DNA samples like that. Okay, that's number one.
Okay,
Number two,
what's your source to that? What's your source to that? That is not giving up DNA. Is
He
it a
was on
source
that.
that you can, or you
yes,
just saying it off the top?
no, like you can go look at 23andMe. It states on their website that they have a little more than 14,000 samples in their database.
No, that
Okay,
ain't true.
there's like 8 billion people in the world, and they only have a little more than 14,000. And
That's not true.
it states it on their website.
It's not. That's not true.
Okay, I'm about to show you, and
They
then
got the large. They got the
when I
large.
prove it to you, then I'm gonna kick you.
That okay?
You're
Kick
calling
me
me a
then.
liar.
That's the
When I
large.
show you,
That's
I'm
the
gonna kick
large.
you.
They got some of the largest databases of
23andMe,
DNA genetics around the world.
23andMe. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, because it's
I
given.
just wanted to say, y'all, if I could,
Yes, ma'am.
because I know I've done my genealogy and I've gone and I would share with anybody within my bloodline, especially on my dad's side. We had what we would call, I have cousins that call them slaves. I just say indentured servants. But I'm going to say this, I have yet to find Africa in my genealogy. And
Yeah.
You okay? What's going on, Jose?
I have what you want to call the palm face people in my bloodline, which I thought I have not seen where they came yet from Europe, but which I thought they did initially. Actually research them now because I'm researching them, and all I'm seeing is Virginia, 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 or whatever they call the colonies. But somebody came from somewhere to start the colonization as far as that part of my bloodline. But when it comes to the melanated people in my bloodline, and that's on my mom and my dad's side, I have yet to find Africa. And that's all I'm gonna say. Like, if you're gonna say that you came from Africa, you have to be able to have found that tribe.
Right. You can even see the slave house your people was at. You can see all that on your genealogy.
I'm finding my tribes. That's all I gotta tell you. And if you're on here to pretty much tell us that we're from Africa and we don't know who we are, I'm telling you, I've found my tribes as well as what would be called the clans in my tribes.
Right now, I'm not on here trying to tell nobody nothing. I was just asking questions to try to get an understanding.
Can you put me on the big screen real quick? I want to show him
And
something.
FYI, one of my degrees is in biology. I used to do DNA testing for a living, maternal and paternal. There is no DNA test can match you to a landmass.
Nope.
Okay.
I believe that too, actually.
All right.
True. I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, I found my cousin." No, they use information that was already in their databases to match you to a cousin. There is no DNA test that can match you to your aunts, uncles, or cousins. DNA can only match mother, father, brother, sister, grandmother, grandfather, and it can only
That's
go
not
back four
true.
gen. It
That's
is so
not
true.
true.
It can only go
That's not
back four
true.
gen. It is so true. It can only go back four generations. I don't need stories. I told you I did this for a living for 11 years.
Show
It
me
can
a
only
story.
match you back four generations. You being one of the four generations.
That's not true.
Okay,
Not
you
true.
can believe what
Because
you want.
You gotta let
I got
people
cousins
believe
all
what they
over. I got
believe.
cousins
I just
all
said they can
over
believe what they
America.
want. I did it for 11 years. My mother did it for 15 or 16
That's
years.
not true, man. That's not true. That's false, and you know it is.
He's African. You gotta let him
I'm
be.
not worried about it. That is
Right.
one of my degrees. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
It says the 23andMe Ancestry Composition Report provides an estimate of your ancestry breakdown by comparing your DNA to the DNA of more than 14,000 people from around the world to help you uncover clues about where
That's,
your
no, I'm
ancestors
sorry. That's not the one I'm
may have
on.
lived. May have lived.
No, that's not the one I'm on. The one I'm on says the one
But
I
this is
did.
the one I said, though. I
Oh,
said
my bad.
23andMe.
My bad. I thought we were just talking about Ancestry.com. That's the one I did. So it got over 18 million people. DNA, it says right here, Ancestry has officially updated the size of their DNA database to over 18 million people. That's the one I did. Sorry, we were talking about two different things. So 18 million far outweighs 14,000.
Okay, you said which website you did?
Just type in how large is Ancestry database.
So
That's what
which ancestry database? What company?
Ancestry.com.
Okay.
www.ancestry.com.
Sure.
Yeah, because also, regardless though,
God damn.
regardless, you have to be able, if
I
you
didn't
can
know the
find a
Mormons own
plantation.
Ancestry.com. That's crazy.
Say
What?
what?
The Mormons own Ancestry.com.
The Mormons.
Mormons own all of them,
So what that got to do with anything? That's
even including